Module 6, Overcoming Overwhelm, the story. In this module, I'm going to talk about overcoming overwhelm. It's a more common thing today than it has ever been. And there's a reason why this is showing up so much. It's partly to do with the human condition, and partly to do with our evolution as humans. We weren't designed to deal with the amount of data that's coming at us now. And we haven't evolved enough to deal with it efficiently. To put this into perspective, in the 1500s, the amount of data we received in 1 year is the same as the amount of data we receive in 1 day today. So with this calibration, it's easy to see why sometimes we humans get overwhelmed. It feels like it's all too much, and we get stuck. Overwhelm can show up as a procrastination, helping us to stand still and overthink every situation. A great way not to get overwhelmed is to move from thinking into action. There are 5 areas that help people and me work through feeling overwhelmed. Clean up your to-do list. Simply do the next thing that needs done. Learn to say no. Ask yourself if what you have is good enough and then ask for help. The first area I recommend is to clean up your to-do list. Someone helped me see that my to-do list needed a good cleanup. And once I did this, it really helped me. A great way to organize your to-do list is to move important stuff from your to-do list into your calendar. So plan to do the actions rather than just being on a long list of things that need done. Move them into your calendar and give them the time and attention they need to move them on or complete them. The second area is do the next thing that needs done. A common thing I used to do is look at my whole to-do list, and when I got past 25, I felt really overwhelmed. I have no idea why it was 25 for me. It seemed like a lot, and somehow it flicked my overwhelm switch. It's easier to stay in action if we don't think about the whole list and just do the next thing it needs done. Pick the next most important task and get it done. I encourage people to identify and focus on their top 5 MITs, which are most important tasks. The third area is learning how to say no. In the workplace, it's common for somebody to come along and ask if you can help them handle one of their tasks. And before you know it, they've moved it into your to-do list, and it's now your task. It's better to say no to taking other people's tasks, and then investigate why they're stuck with it. Is it their task? Is it just difficult for them? Because quite often, when someone is not doing something, it's not because they haven't got time. They just don't want to do it, or it's just too hard for them. Sometimes it's better to just say no and work together to get the task done effectively. The fourth area is to question if it's good enough. Is what you're doing right now good enough to hand it on or to hand it back to complete the task? It's easy to get caught up in wanting to do a perfect job. Just polish it that bit more. But sometimes good enough is all that is needed, and it lets you move on, keeping you away from the dreaded overwhelm. The fifth area is asking for help, and this is one of the more difficult ones. It's easy to slip into thinking that asking for help means you're not good at your job. You don't know enough, or you're a weak leader, and have thousands of other variations of this to think about. It's when our egos give us a bad piece of advice that often leads to being a bit lonely and indeed overwhelmed. Asking for help actually is such a strong thing to do in leadership. If you focus on getting your job done, if you're willing to be fallible and ask for help, all you're saying is, there's something I need some help with. Can you help me get the job done? It can be as simple as a 2-minute conversation with someone saying, okay, can I run through why I'm stuck with something? What does this look like to you? Can you help me see something I can't? Or can we do this together? Most people like to help and support other people. Think how good it feels when you're asked for your help. So to recap, there are 5 areas that help people stay away from being overwhelmed. Clean up your to-do list and move things into your calendar. Do the very next thing that needs done and repeat. Learn to say no and then support people in getting their task done. Ask yourself if what you have is good enough and then move on to the next task. And probably the most underused behaviour is ask for help.